This podcast contains paid advertisements, but more on that later. Welcome to the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast, where I discuss how you can grow your business by the bootstraps. This applies to all entrepreneurs, from the person just starting up to the one that is already well established. My goal is to help you grow. I am your host, Isaiah O'Connor.
So today we're still on our launch of the O'Connor Bootstrap podcast subscription service, where you get some extra little goodies for signing up. And that's over at buymeacoffee.com/bootstrap. You can go check it out. $5 a month, $50 a year. And if you just want to help out because you enjoy my work, you can just throw some money in there as well over at buymeacoffee.com. Now, let's get into this. Today we're going to talk about another get woke, go broke moment, and that is with the NBA. Now, I am not a sports guy. That would be Jason over on the Atheoz Business podcast. But I do pay attention to business and things that are going on in the world. And apparently, the NBA took a massive ratings dive because they got too political. Now, if you've heard me talk about business and politics before, I've said repeatedly that while it's okay to have your own personal politics in play and you want to vote the way you do and believe what you do, that's absolutely fine. But the moment you try to preach to your customers what they should believe and you should be pushing your political viewpoints on them, that can backfire. It can alienate you, and that can be a bad thing. And that's what happened with the NBA. And I'm going to read an article that from itsgame.7.com. And it said that this organization that did polling went out and tried to figure out why the huge drop off in viewership happened. And they went out and they did a poll, and here's the results. The league has become too political. Ultimately was the top reason why the people surveyed, and they were tuning out, capturing 38% vote. After that came boring without fans, which is interesting, which got 28% of the vote. So if 38% of the fans don't show up, and then that's less, and then people watching it without other fans there, that's even less, plus coronavirus, that doesn't help. So that took a huge dive. And then China rounded up the top three, pulling a 19% vote, which again is political. The whole thing with China and the way the relationship the NBA has with China seems to have been a negative effect on them. Now, of course, according to this poll, it was divided upon party lines. Of course, 48% of Democrats and 34% of Republicans, something like that. I don't know. But if you want to, you can go look out and read more on it. But the big takeaway here is 30, what was that again? 38% of the people stopped watching the NBA because of politics. The NBA decided to pick up a message, several political messages lately, and run with them. And the only time I hear about the NBA, because again, I am not a sports guy, is when these political things make the news. And it's been costing them a lot of fans, 38%, and those ratings cost money, and they are losing money because of their losing viewership, which means they don't get ad revenue, sales revenue, all that good stuff. And that's a big deal. Because, again, it's just fine to hold your own political beliefs. If you're woke, great. If you're not woke, great. Whatever you believe, that's fine. But when you start pushing out your political agenda to somebody who doesn't care what you think, you're going to get broke. And the reason I keep having these podcasts about this is because it keeps on happening. Again and again and again and again, these massive corporations do something that's ultra woke, and the backlash is immense because they stop focusing on their product or service. And that's a huge deal. Where you focus on your product and service, people like what you want. And granted, there is a very vocal minority out there that may come after you because you're not being outspoken about politics. They might come after you because you don't outwardly support something they want you to support. I've seen it. Matter of fact, one of my heroes in this issue is Mike Rowe. Now, Mike Rowe is an amazing guy. He has a big platform. His biggest focus is his fund, his organization that he helps people get jobs on the train. Mike Rowe Works organization where he gets people jobs and training in the trades. He's a great guy. His main focus is Mike Rowe Works. And all the time I see people in comments on his Facebook page, Mike Rowe, why don't you get political? Mike Rowe, why don't you take a side? Why don't you speak out against this? Or why don't you speak up for this? And he refuses to do it. And people get mad at him, sure. But he doesn't want to play those games. And he even says, I have political viewpoints. Of course I do. But that's not important to Mike Rowe Works. My politics has nothing to do with Mike Rowe Works. My job is to get people jobs. What I do is more important than my politics. I need to help people get jobs. I need to help people get trained and get into jobs and work hard. And he doesn't care a whit about politics or where the person comes from. All that he's looking for is people who are willing to go work hard and do a good job, and then he will help them get jobs. That's his goal. And he avoids politics. And it's really funny because the closest thing I've seen him get into anything political is he recently did a video where someone asked him to comment about Nancy Pelosi, and he talked about that a little bit with his hair looking like lightning struck him. And it was absolutely hilarious. And it may have been political, maybe not, but what it was absolutely hilarious. So, even then, he is a major public figure who is consistently bombarded with people telling him that he needs to get political or he shouldn't get political or back and forth. And he just doesn't play that game. He just doesn't. And I see that time and time again where businesses get political and it turns off customers. So that's always an interesting thing. Why do people do that? Well, I think it's because sometimes the loudest voices, you listen to people who are the loudest voices, the people who make the biggest statements, the things that are in the news the most, they seem to be where the customer base is. And I'm going to take this back into research, where not always the loudest voices are not always your customer base. People who are very loud and political maybe represent a tiny portion of the people that use your product or service. So instead of making a decision on going political and going woke or pushing a political narrative with your product or service, again, of course, with the exception of if your product or service is in politics, of course, you have a guy like Ben Shapiro who's a political commenter. then yeah, that's what he does for a living. Of course, he's going to be political, but that's what he does. I mean, I'm not going to say he shouldn't be political when that's what he does. That's his job. So yeah, of course, if you're a political pundit, then yeah, of course you do politics. But outside of that, if I'm watching a baseball game, whenever I do watch sports, it was baseball a couple hundred years ago. I want to watch baseball. I want to see the teams play. I want to see the guy get in the pickle and escape just barely and win. I want to watch. The last time I followed, I want to watch the underdog team sweep the pennant to go to the World Series. I want to see that the home team winning. That's fun. That's exciting. Politics makes it just not able to be watched. What can I say? I don't want to watch baseball because of politics. I don't want to watch basketball because of politics. I want to watch baseball for basketball, etc. Not that I ever watch basketball, just saying. When it's a sporting event, I want to watch what the people are doing, how they're playing. I want to watch them, their skill, what they've done, their blood, sweat, and tears to get to that point, their excellent skill. That's the most important to me. That is what makes things amazing. Here in Norway, we have named Cecilia Brækhus, and they call her the First Lady of Boxing. And she is the first woman in any weight class to hold all the belts, all four title belts simultaneously. She is undefeated in her professional boxing career, and she is amazing. And when I've watched fights with her, they've been amazing. In one of the fights, which she won, she shattered her ankle, her foot. She broke like 3 or 4 bones in her foot when she stepped weird. And that was halfway through the match. And she toughed it out and still won. It was an amazing match. Was there anything to do with politics in that? No. If there had been politics in it, it would have taken away from that amazing feat of strength and endurance. Because I don't care about politics. I just want to watch this lady box with skill and precision and toughing things out and watch an amazing match. That's all that matters. Again, if I want to go shave, I don't want to be told that I'm shaving for the wrong reasons or what type of man I need to be because that's what they decided I should be. I don't need to go, if I need a hammer from the hardware store, I don't care what the hardware store owner, his political viewpoints are. I just need a stinking hammer. Again, going political with your message is a good way to alienate your customers. And in these days and ages, in these corona times, the last thing you want to do is alienate any customers. You want to draw customers in and you want to reach out to everybody equally and bring them all in. So by picking a political message, you're by nature alienating one part of the people that could be buying from you. That's what it basically boils down to. If you go political, if you pick a side, you might get a boost of business from one side or the other. But when you pick sides, you're by nature you're alienating the other side. And in business, you really don't want to do that. You don't want to be pushing away half your customers or more. There might be a huge difference in the sides, and if you pick the side that has a smaller population of people, well, population in the sense of people that believe that point, then you're going to be in trouble because you're going to lose a lot more people. So, just something to think about if you're looking at being political with your business. If your business is not by nature a political beast, leave the politics aside and focus on doing what you do, and what you do, make it great. Because when you focus on making what you do great, leaving politics aside, that's when you can grow. That's how you can come back. That's how you make a real difference in people's lives by providing them great value. And of course, the bigger you grow, the more people you can hire. More people you hire, the more lives you can help. Again, back to that whole giving thing. I think in business, yeah, you want to take care of yourself. You want to grow. You want to take care of your family. But in the long run, the bigger you build your business, the more people you can hire, the more people you can help, the more value you provide to everyone else. That should be the only political message, if anything, which is help everyone else. That's not even a political message. That's just a value message. That should be the value, only value. Help everyone, grow your business, help people with their needs and wants, dreams and desires. Help other people out. Focus on their value. Focus on growing your business. When you hire more people, the more people you help out. The bigger your business, the more places you buy from, the bigger their business help. Everyone gets helped out. So that should be the message. Not politics, just people. Just take care of people. That's the most important thing you can do. Just take care of people, help people out, provide value for people, and your business will grow and you won't go broke.
Remember to get your free half-hour consultation by using our contact page and the links below. If you found value in this content, please give us a 5-star rating on whichever podcast platform you use. It is very helpful if you share this with your friends. If you'd like to directly support this podcast, I have a few donation links in the description, or you can check out the show sponsors. You have been listening to the O'Connor Bootstrap podcast, which is an Atheoz Business Solutions podcast. For our companion podcast, the Atheoz Business Podcast, which is hosted by Jason St. Clair. Our past episodes and related blogs, you can check out our website at www.atheoz.com, which is www.atheoz.com or atheoz.com. Remember, you can also check us out on the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast Facebook group, where you can interact with me and other people who are bootstrappers and entrepreneurs. The link is in the description. Come check us out. I would love to interact with you. And until next time, I'm your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur, Isaiah O'Connor. See you later.